What's up, folks? I'm Dwayne,
I'm Alicia.
and this is Blackboard Gaming, where we teach you about all these great board games that are out there.
Waiting to be played by you and yours. I'm a simple man, don't wanna complicate Hey everybody! Today, we're going to talk about 5 games that have been hitting the table lately that we think you should check out.
Now, 4 of these games I have played with Alicia. The 5th game is a game that I've been playing on my own, by myself, or with other folks, but I've been having a lot of enjoyment with that specific game.
So, without wasting any time, let's get right to it.
The first game we're going to talk about is a game we actually had the chance to demo at a local board game convention a couple weekends ago. UConn.
In
Ypsilanti.
Last weekend.
Yeah, last weekend. This weekend, so okay. But anyway, this is a game that I talked about on my Essen hype list. And this game is called Popcorn. Now, Popcorn, like I said, we just got a chance to demo it, so this is more like our first impression. But Popcorn is a game where we are running our own movie theater. And we are buying movies and attracting patrons of different color because the movies are different color.
So it's a bag building game, and what's in the bag are your patrons of different colors.
Yes, and there's 4 different movies. There's like the yellow is the romances.
Or the comedies.
Yeah, and then you got the blue as the dramas, and you got the green is sci-fi, and red is the action.
So what you're doing is you're putting movies in your theater of a certain color, and you have seats that attract those. So the movies and the seats have colors assigned to them, and also, so when you pull the patrons out of the bag, you want to strategically match the patrons to the colors of the seats and the movie theaters to maximize your points.
Yeah, the reason you're going to get certain bonuses, like if you have an action movie and you have a red seat and you draw a red patron out of your bag and place it in that seat, then you're going to get certain bonuses. And bonuses might be you get to advertise and grab other patrons, or you can actually take patrons out of the other people's lobbies. They have patrons that haven't been placed in their lobby in their movie theater, so you can do some advertising to attract those patrons over to your movie into your bag.
So this is a family weight game. It's pretty cute, but one of the cutest features about this game is your victory points is actually popcorn.
Popcorn tokens, which we have been tossing around the fact, like if we get that game, maybe we could find a store that has like fake popcorn, and you're going to fill up your basket with the popcorn, and those are your points. At the end of the game, whoever has the most popcorn is the winner.
Yes.
And I really like the different names of the movies.
Yes.
That those are funny, and I just like the fact that you're, it's a bag builder. You're drawing the patrons, and like I said, the colors, the patrons match the movies: yellow, green, blue, and red. And you drawing them out the bag, and then you're going to place them strategically in order to get the most bonuses.
This is a cute game. It's not a long game. And it's a bit of a push your luck game.
Well, yeah, no, you get to draw. I don't know if is it a push your luck?
Well, no, it's not.
Okay, I'm like, you draw, you have a ticket counter that tells you how many patrons you can pull out. So you're not going in there and say, let me pull out another one or whatever. You're going to pull out a certain number. So it's not a push your luck.
So the thing is, one of the bonuses you earn if you get to match up the colors right is in subsequent rounds you can raise the number of patrons you get to pull out the bag.
Yeah, so I think I really enjoyed this game.
Yeah, this is a fun game.
So I'm looking forward for it to come out. Come to retail, I would definitely be ready to get this game.
Yes.
All right, so that's Popcorn. The next game we're going to talk about is another game that I had on my Essen Hype List video. And I was excited for this game because of the theme. And this game is called Bohemians. Now, before we get into it, we try to keep it family weight, but this game has some adult content. So take this as your spoiler, like if you have kids in the room or whatever, this might get, we're going to be sharing some of that content with you. So just be aware of that. But Bohemians is a deck building game where it's set in Paris. And we are striving artists who are trying to...
We are starving.
Starving artists. Yeah, you understand the starving part. We're striving to perfect our craft, whether we are composing music, or we're a painter or sculptor or a poet, And so pretty much, like I said, it's a deck building game. You're going to be, you have a starting deck of cards. You're going to be playing cards onto your board, like 4 cards. And there are these icons that are on the cards, like half icons. And there's like a curiosity, there's focus, playfulness, and expression. And you're trying to match the icons together in order to make a whole icon, and that's going to grant you inspiration. And inspiration is the currency in the game. And that inspiration, you're going to use that inspiration to gain habit cards from the display, also muses that you'll be able to put into your deck. The thing is, where the starving artist
part comes in, you also, so if you just pick habit cards and you don't work, you have to get a hazard. And a hazard is something that happens to you in the course of living.
Like, is it called hazard? What is it called?
I don't remember.
Oh man, I cannot remember what it's called.
Hardship.
Hardship.
It's called a hardship. And it's just something that happens as a result of living on the street.
Yeah, the jobs that you have, you're like a cabaret attendant or a beggar or a street husker or a journalist. And you notice these jobs aren't regular 9-to-5 jobs. You work them when you can. And you have a tile that represents your job, and that tile is not going to give you any icons to gain inspiration.
So you don't get any icons, so it lowers how much inspiration you get, but it prevents you from getting
hardship.
A hardship. So there's that trade-off.
Yeah, because you want to make sure you work, because you do got to survive. But some of the hardships
are a bit much.
Yeah, like there's hardships like homelessness. There's poor hygiene. There
are socially transmitted diseases.
Yeah, there's or an addiction.
Yeah.
Whether it be alcohol or opium, and it just some of those hardships are
pretty grim.
Yeah, but it's kind of like real life if you think about it.
Well, also the Bohemian is set in the early 1900s, late 1800s, so it's really, kind of not modern. So things were a little bit more grim back then anyway.
Yeah, I got it. But there's some things, ways to stave off those hardships. So like one way is just go to work. You won't gain as much inspiration, but you go to work.
Or some of the muses will give you some mitigating ways to
deal with the hardships.
Yes.
Also, there's you have Atelier points that you can spend to ignore a hardship, and when you go to the sleep phase, because pretty much you're placing 4 cards on your game board, and they represent day, morning, afternoon, evening, and night. And they recommend you to tell a story, like how you place the cards, because it might be like focus on your craft, or you wander the streets aimlessly, or whatever.
Or you spend time with your
friends and all that.
Your romantic interests.
Yeah. and I really do like that. because there's another game that came out a few years ago called After Us, which it has the primates, and you're trying to match up the symbols in order to be the first to get a certain number of points to win. But there was no theme. That was just a pasted on theme. Here, it adds the theme, you know.
So I do like the mechanics of this game, and I do like the art.
The art is beautiful.
The art is well done, and it does honestly make you think of art in a French gallery.
Yeah.
However, for me personally, some of the hardships are a little bit too, I guess, adult for my personal taste.
Yeah, y'all know Alicia is like borderline wholesome.
I like stuff clean and wholesome, yes.
I love the game. I mean, even without the story, I love that puzzle of trying to gain the most inspiration, because the object of the game is there's these achievements and they cost inspiration. So when you spend your inspiration, you can either get habit cards or muses, or you can get achievements. And the base achievement starts at 8 inspiration, but they gradually get more expensive.
And by the end, you have to pay 15. So if you don't increase your muses, you won't be
Or your habit cards.
Or your habit cards, you won't be able to gain the achievement cards.
And I like the way that it balances it out, because you pretty much, there's sometimes you have to work because you getting too many hardship cards, and them hardship cards can mess with you.
Nah.
Like poor hygiene will cause you to lose a muse. That muse will say, "Oh no, you stink. I'm gone."
One of the things that I understand is thematic, but another thing for me that's a bit of a challenge is I would just go to work. Like, I'm not about to starve. I'm gonna go to work.
I mean, I get it, but that's you won't win the game. And I mean, and like I said, I love the fact that they recommend tell a story of why you place those cards together. You know, because of course you're doing it for the ultimate, trying to match up those symbols to gain inspiration. But why did you place those cards together? And you get to tell a story. Now, Alicia has admitted she's not a great storyteller. I did play this with my friend Mike, and it was hilarious because he does mystery theater. So it was really fun listening to him come up with a story of why he placed those cards the way he did.
Yeah.
And he ended up winning, but I enjoyed every moment of it.
So this game, the only thing we're saying about this game is because of some of the themes.
Be aware.
This might not be a family-friendly game.
Yeah, just be aware, but it is real life, and even without the storytelling, they suggest storytelling to add context to why you place the cards. But I just enjoy that puzzle of trying to match up those symbols in order to gain inspiration. And it's a deck building game. I enjoy deck building games. So that's pretty much Bohemians. I really, really enjoyed it.
I liked it. But yeah, some of it was a little bit risque.
All right. So the next game we're talking about is a game that we've had in the collection for a few years now. And I have played it, like I've only played it solo, but I finally got the chance to introduce it to Alicia because, you know, we did a video about what makes a board game cozy. And so I said, you know what, I want to show her this game. And I thought that this game would definitely fit into that because it's something that we like to do the older we get. And that's take a nap.
I'm going to take a nap.
I mean, naps are needed. Now, also, but you didn't see it in the cozy video because after playing it, we also recognized we did a video where we talk about board games that can be scary, sort of.
This definitely could have been in there.
Because you're being chased by a nightmare.
So basically, the object of the game is to stay asleep. You know the myth of counting sheep when you're having trouble sleeping. So you're the sheep in someone's dreams. The problem is there's a wolf.
There's a nightmare. There are 3 nightmares
okay.
that come in the game, but the first nightmare is this big bad wolf.
So you don't as a sheep, you don't want to land on the same tile as the nightmare, or you wake up.
You're gonna be frightened. So pretty much you have a sheep token and you're going around this rondelle. And there's this fence. So you're trying to go around the rondelle as many times as possible, hopping the fence, because when you hop the fence, you're going to gain a certain number of points. On the scoreboard, there's going to be a wink token and a pillow token. And the pillow token starts at 40 and the wink token starts 0. So you're trying to get your
them close together.
Right, because
have them meet.
Yeah, you're trying to get as many points as the wing token, because when the round ends, whoever has the most points, they get to move their pillowcase token down. And the object of the game is to be the first to get your pillow token and your wing token to meet. You know. And so, like I said, you're going around this rondelle, you're playing cards, going around this rondelle, and there's this wolf. And some of those cards come up, and the wolf's going to move a certain number of spaces. And so if the wolf lands on, or you land on the tile with the wolf, or vice versa, you get frightened. You're still in the game, but now you're pushing your luck. Like, do I want to keep going? Because if the wolf lands on your space again, you get woken up, and then you lose any points that you gain.
Any points you make. So this is a bit of a push your luck game.
Yeah,
in fact,
that's where you got to push your luck.
Yes, that's where I got it from. Actually, I think that this is a good way to introduce that whole concept of push your
Yeah,
luck.
it is. You know, and it's just pretty much but now if the wolf gets to the fence, everybody wakes up. So also when you hop the fence, you have the choice of whether you want to wake up and keep your points, or do you want to push your luck, you know? And so we really enjoyed this game. I'm glad I kept this in the collection.
This game is a keeper, and
it's really cute.
It's a family weight game. You can definitely play this with your kids.
I definitely love the quirky art. I love the little sheep tokens.
I'm glad you recognize it. It is quirky. It's quirky.
So that's Sheepy Time. So the 4th game I'm going to talk about is Caesar's Empire. Now, before we get into it, I want to tell you a little story. Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I had never heard of this game, but I was watching Dice Tower. They did their top 10 games to play with strangers. And Chris Yee over there mentioned Caesar's Empire. Now, here's the thing. I went to a local board game spot, and they had some games on clearance. And Caesar's Empire was one of those games. You know, and it was like about $15 or something like that. And I was like, give me that game. You know, I immediately bought it because it's a game where you could pretty much teach this game to anybody. And I can see what they mean by playing board games with strangers. Because some games, you know, we may think that they're introductory, but that's because we're gamers. But somebody that's really new to the board game hobby, they might not think that game is introductory. This, I think, is a great game to introduce to people.
This is a simple game. It really, it does require strategy. It does require thought, but it doesn't have a huge rule set, and you don't have it's just easy to learn.
And the thing is, the game really lasts about a half hour.
Yeah, so it's not
that.
a long game.
No matter how many people in it, you know, it's not a long game. It's going to be like less than an hour or whatever. So pretty much in this game, you are first. The cool thing about it is the map, and it has the shadow of Caesar looking out at the map. You know, like he's making his war games or whatever. But everybody's gonna get these tokens that represents their rows. They're really their marching miniatures or whatever, but it represents their rows. And you're gonna place these tokens out from Rome. You know, place 1 or 2 following these dotted lines to a different city on the map. And each of these cities are gonna have a city token and a good. There's 8 goods. A resource. Or, well, you're not a resource because you're not using them to do anything with them. But it's certain goods like
olives.
There's olives, there's grapes, there's wood, there's beef or whatever. And
No, I thought it was ham.
yeah, that's true. Okay, so you're going to take the city token and that good token, and you're going to place it onto your board. And you're pretty much you gain points if you have a certain
You
amount.
gain points by the way you place them.
Yeah, if you have a certain amount of those goods, and if you have a number of different goods. And then once you place your road, you're going to gain 1 point for each piece of your road that you place going back to Rome. Now, here's the thing. Further along in the game, when you place your pieces, you may be extending a road that somebody else started. So, in order to get a certain good, you'll be giving other players points.
But they'll do the same for you.
Yes, they will do the same for you. So you're going to gain 1 point for each piece of the road. So you're going to be gaining points throughout the game. And then at the end of the game, you're going to score for like the regions, which city token you have the highest numeric value of, or you're going to be scoring points for your goods. There's also these gold coins that if you grab a gold coin, then we score those roads, they're going to get double the points. So each piece of the road will get 2 points.
So there's a lot of ways to score points. It's not a big rule set, and it's not a complex setup.
Yeah, it's just you just got to think about like which good do you want, or which road, or are you going to build this road, but you might be giving somebody else points. So you got to keep all those things in mind. But like I said, it's a really quick game. And so I'm glad I picked this up. I played it with Alicia, and I played it at my Tuesday night board game group. We played that like maybe 2 or 3 times. And like I said, it's a quick game, very enjoyable. Everybody liked it. And
this is a good game to introduce to people who are not familiar to the hobby.
Yes, and that is Caesar's Empire. So this last game is the game that I didn't play with Alicia. I've been playing it solo, and I've been playing with the folks at my Tuesday night board game group. And this is a game that I picked up at Grand Con this past September. And I finally got it at the table, and I have been loving it.
Okay.
And that is Lord of the Rings, Fate of the Fellowship.
Okay.
So Matt Leacock is the designer of Pandemic.
Okay.
This is like a Pandemic style game, but it's set in the Lord of the Rings world. Now, I have to tell you, if you have a partner that really loves Lord of the Rings, you have made it most of the way. I applaud you, because that is a cool thing to have. Now,
he says that because he doesn't have such a partner.
I don't have. Alicia's not really into fantasy like that. But this game really immerses you into the world of Middle Earth. And pretty much you're trying to get Sam and Frodo to Mount Doom in order to drop the ring. That's one of the objectives. But every game there's going to be 4 objectives. And you're going to be, I think there's 24 objectives that come total. But you're always going to play with 3 random. And then the 1 main objective is getting them to Mount Doom. And so there's a lot of variability in this game. And the cool thing about it, you're moving on the board. You get to move, you get the fellowship. You get to fight, battle the bad guys, which are represented. All these little armies are represented by these cute little meeples, but it makes sense because the map it looks like Middle Earth.
Okay.
And the cool thing about it is these the Nazgul, which are these miniatures that's flying around searching for Sam and Frodo.
Okay.
And like I said, one of the actions you get to move, but if you move Sam and Frodo, you have to spend a stealth. Because if you don't, you're going to roll these dice that's going to check and see if you lose hope. Pretty much. Because they're looking for Sam and Frodo. And there's this beautiful dice tower that they've added to this game that really brings in the theme.
Okay.
And the whole thing is you're trying to not lose hope.
Okay.
That's the whole thing. But then there's the Eye of Sauron that's moving around. So you got to keep battling to make the Eye of Sauron go over, wondering what's going on over here, so you can get Sam and Frodo to move freely and get closer to Mount Doom. The other thing is you got to finish those other 3 objectives first before you can do the Sam and Frodo objectives.
Okay.
And it has all the characters: Eowyn, Legolas, there's Gandalf, there's Aragorn, and the game and some of the objectives are just so true to the movie. Like,
Okay.
I only know about the movies,
Okay.
but it is so true to the movie, especially Eowyn.
Okay.
You know, I love playing with Eowyn. But yeah, Lord of the Rings, Fate of the Fellowship, I got a feeling this might be in my top 5 of the year.
Okay.
It's just so thematic, and I love it.
Okay.
So there you have it. 5 board games that have been hitting the table over here, and that we think you should check out.
So put in the comments below, what games have you been playing lately, and what are some games you think we should check out?
Pay attention to that theme, And if you like the contents of this video, feel free to hit that like button. Subscribe.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky.
I'm Dwayne.
I'm Alicia.
This has been Blackboard Gaming.
We will see you next time.